Um, well, I think if the decay is there and that's part of the process of that decay, then that's part of life, and it's going to come out. I don't think that's ever going to end. This graffiti, I read one definition of it is like the writing the way the Romans used to do it. I mean, it's like they wrote on the wall. If that goes all the way back to that time, it's a sign. It's a message. I think it's. I mean, that's how writing started. Was from signs that someone made that represented some kind of an experience they were having, whether it was the sun or the moon, or the rain or the hills. It's all sacred, and don't deny yourself in your humanness, to express yourself. And the decay is something that we struggle with, particularly in our urban environments. I think it just shows that there's a social problem that continues to happen that's not being addressed, that is sorely needed. The priorities need to be rearranged so that people have jobs and they have a place where they can do their art. They can do it on this wall and whatever, and that they don't have this feeling against their society or against the police or against anyone. Is it against? Is it you can start to begin to question yourself. And take responsibility for yourself and what's around you, and have a different maybe attitude, and not have to feel threatened. I feel that there's a desperation out there where it becomes such a big part of the problem in the environment.
Do you see legal walls as being a possible solution, or
Well, hopefully, we can continue to promote mural art as something that gives people a voice, that can continue to be a part of their environment, where art becomes a part of their life. I think murals is one way of making that an important. Well, it's a visual expression, and it can reflect the people that are going to be in that particular environment, and their concerns and hopes and dreams. And I would like to see certainly a lot more murals than I would drab, ugly colored buildings. When we did the mural with 150 kids on Market Street, and we asked them to paint their favorite places in San Francisco, and they did a lot of buildings. There wasn't a single building in their painting that was gray or beige or any of these muted colors. They were all beautiful, bright colors, purples, violets, greens, blues of all shades. And it was wonderful. It made the city look wonderful, in a place you'd really want to go to see. I know that there's a plan on 24th Street. The businesses there and people who are proposing to have each building on 24th Street be a mural and be colored a different color. And I mean, the bright colors in the murals have affected, I think, how people feel and how they would like to see their own environments. I mean, it gives them different ideas about it. And if some of our colors are rubbing off in that way, that's great. Maybe that's scary to some people, but it's part of nature too. Are we denying nature when we see bright colors in nature? You look at it really close. You look at the flowers or the birds or the insects or fish and everything. And there's just beauty. What we're talking about is beauty, and accepting beauty. And I don't. A lot of the places in the city are not beautiful, and they could be if people put their hearts and time and strength into it.
Sure. Well, I thank you very much for your time. Was there any last statements that you'd like to make that I maybe didn't touch upon that you find are important to our discussion?
I don't really want to think about it. I think I really say way too much for not, not hitting on the right notes, but yeah, I would sure hope that these young people would continue to do their paintings on walls, as far as possible into the future, as they, maybe there'll be whole cities just filled with murals and colorful buildings, which you probably still see a little tag here and there, with really positive messages that are not as desperate as the ones we see now, hopefully.